Hello, hello, and welcome back to What We Pod in the Shadows, where we are currently discussing Season 3 of What We Do in the Shadows. I'm Raven.
And I'm Alison.
This week we are discussing, I believe, the penultimate episode of Season 3, which is called A Farewell.
And this week we're not congested.
Yeah, I was just editing a couple earlier today, and I'm like, I still sounded so nasty. But before we get into discussing the episode, just a reminder to, if you haven't already, to follow/subscribe to the podcast, depending on what platform you're listening to it on, and leave us a comment or a review, and we might read it on the pod. It would be really helpful for us to get out there to more folks if we got some more feedback.
And be sure to check out our other podcast, Mojo Jojo's Bizarre Adventure, where we are discussing JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and alternating that with classic Powerpuff Girls. We're on season 3 right now of Powerpuff Girls. So if you want to check us out talking about some animated shows, you can listen to us over there.
Yeah, and sometimes we even talk about vampires on there too.
Vampires who do want to take over the world, whereas these vampires don't want to take over the world.
Yeah.
Nandor is still locked up in the cage in the basement, and Guillermo is trying to deprogram him. Colin tries to intimidate him with a cattle prod, just like they did to Guillermo previously. Nandor is mad that they believe Guillermo over him. He calls Laszlo lazy and says that Nadja ridicules him for his romantic missteps, and that she does the exact opposite of what he wants when it comes to the Vampiric Council. To Colin, he says that he barely remembers his name. He is angry at Guillermo for taking him from the wellness center and wants to take a super slumber because he is sick and tired of being sick and tired. So the super slumber, they said, could be for 50 years, 100 years, or even up to 300 years.
Laszlo and Nadja say that the super slumber is a desperate measure for a vampire, and that when they wake up, everyone around them will either be dead or scattered to the four winds. As Nandor prepares to climb in his coffin for his super slumber, Nadja gets weepy as she reads a speech hoping the world will be kinder to Nandor when he wakes up. Colin is upset because he thinks Nandor picked this time to get out of coming to his 100th birthday party that night. Nandor says he didn't even know it was Colin's birthday that day. They bid Nandor farewell, and Guillermo helps Nandor into his coffin. Guillermo asks for a moment of privacy from the crew, and nails shut the door to Nandor's room.
So it said, like, during the slumber that they would have, like, a dreamless sleep, and then they kind of wake up shriveled, kind of like the Baron did, I guess. And then they wrote notes to him, Nadja and Laszlo, but Laszlo, the only thing he wrote was just, he started to write him a note. All he wrote was, like, Nandor, and that was it.
Yeah.
So the guide announces that the Supreme Worldwide Vampiric Council is coming this same night for a visit. Laszlo says he's already got some vampires coming for Colin's birthday, and the guide says Nandor and Nadja should prepare some words for the delegation. They decide they should wake up Nandor after only 30 minutes. Nandor says he will just relinquish power to Nadja, and when Laszlo suggests he postpone his slumber for a few days and stay for Colin's birthday, Nandor says for Nadja to say she killed Nandor. Nandor goes back in his coffin, and Guillermo again nails boards over his door. The delegation shows up via horse and carriage, and Guillermo announces the guests. Contessa, who is 1,000 years old, Dominicus the Dreadful, who may have set the fire that burnt down the Great Library of Alexandria. I think that the one that was David Cross?
Yeah.
His lady friend Coco, and Donald Logue from Blade.
I didn't even know he was in Blade until, we watched this episode. I know him from Gotham, where he played Harvey Bullock.
I've seen him somewhere else, too, and I don't remember the Blade thing. I don't think that's the thing I really know him from, but yeah.
Yeah. They have a feast of blood, except for Coco, who has chicken nuggets and spaghetti, plain buttered spaghetti. Laszlo keeps asking people to sign Colin's birthday card. Nadja lies and tells the Contessa that Nandor became a threat to her power, so she killed him. The Vampiric Council members are delighted by how cutthroat Nadja is. The Contessa wants to see Nandor's corpse, so Guillermo wakes Nandor up again and asks him to play dead for the delegation. Nandor is annoyed because he could have just done this while in the super slumber and they'd have no way of telling if he was really dead. As they argue, Nadja and the delegation make their way to Nandor's room. They're supposed to just take a short look, but the delegation, for some reason, really wants to see if Nandor's junk is damaged. And it's a very awkward scene. And so they check out his junk and then they go back to dinner. And Nandor is pissed off that this is his send-off.
God, it's like, supposedly he had a big penis, and then, I don't know, I guess maybe they think this is their last chance to see it because he's dead. I'm not sure why there's a body, though, because if they're, I don't know, maybe it's only if they're staked. They go out in the sun, they turn to ash, though, too. And then what about, with the holy water? So I'm just not sure why there's a body, and then they didn't really ask to see his wounds or anything. I just wanted to see the ding-dong.
Yeah.
And so then it's like Guillermo has to lift his shirt or whatever to show. And then they have a whole discussion about, is it big or is it not? So they go back to the blood banquet, they do a toast, and Laszlo toasts Colin and gets a little weepy. Nadja bids them into the other room for something. I'm not sure what she said. I wrote down Fox show, but I have a question mark. Where clothes are optional.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was an orgy of some kind.
She is pissed at Laszlo for the Colin birthday stuff until he reveals Colin is dying. Energy vampires only live until 100 years exactly. Laszlo has known for months after he found the information in the council's library and decided to keep it a secret and show Colin a good time until his death.
Colin comes back into the room and says he's not up to the orgy because he has a stomach ache. Laszlo says he's begun dying. They gather around Colin as he dies and farts a lot. Guillermo tries to say his goodbyes, but Laszlo keeps interrupting to tell him to bring Colin a diet ginger ale for his tummy. Guillermo instead wakes up Nandor yet again to tell him Colin's dying and that they should all be together for it, but when they get back to Colin's room, Colin has already died. Nandor is pissed because he thinks Colin is faking his death again, but in trying to prove he's faking, he puts his fists through Colin's head.
Before that, when he's laying there, he was excited to do, see what his next 100 years was going to be, because he felt like he wasted his first 100 years.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot what was going on there. And I was like, why does his face look like that? And then so it was a little bit of a shock when Nandor crushed his head.
Yeah. Basically obliterated his face.
Yeah, he kind of just came out with almost clear slime or maybe red tinged slime.
Yeah, it was some gooey 80s horror looking shit.
So it's sort of sweet to know that Laszlo's been kind of doing stuff with him, knowing what he knew. So there was that scene in the library where he tore a page out of the book, and that's the page that said that he was only going to live to exactly 100 years. I'm not sure how Colin knows exactly his birthday, because he doesn't seem to know a whole lot about himself.
Yeah.
So, them working on the car together and then trying to go to that island and stuff was supposed to be his way of, doing things with him, which is nice. I'm just not sure if he should have told Colin so Colin could at least choose what he wanted to do with his, last days or weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
So he kind of chose for Colin. But other than that, it's probably the nicest thing I've seen Laszlo ever do.
Yeah.
I don't get the Nandor super slumber thing. I understand, he's pissed after being locked in the cage.
Yeah.
I kind of just feel like he just needs to move out.
Yeah.
I feel like he's depressed because of them.
Yeah. It is a pretty toxic environment.
He needs to make new friends. There's been, I feel like, a couple different opportunities where he could have made friends with other groups, and I don't know, something always messes it up. I know the wellness center was not great, but I don't know that she would have led them out into the sun had Guillermo not interfered. I know Guillermo was trying to do the best that he was worried about Nandor, and I'm not sure if Nandor would have went out into the sun.
I hope.
And I know it's like hard for them to travel and stuff, but I mean they like set the Baron up in the Sire somehow with a house. I just feel like he just needs, I don't know, like a new environment or something.
Yeah.
Could just be him and Guillermo, or what was the point of the Vampiric Council's visit? They just wanted to.
I think they were supposed to be like checking in on that branch of the Vampire Council's like progress and all they've been up to since they became in charge of the council in that area.
I guess. It didn't seem like they were super worried about that.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the news that Andor was dead was maybe more interesting than what they came for, but I'm not sure any of those people seem super serious.
Mm-mm.
Like the David Cross guy bringing his girlfriend, and then they're gonna have an orgy. Like, I don't. They're kind of lucky that they were able to plan anything on such short notice, because a lot of times their stuff on short notice is a disaster.
Yeah. It did go surprisingly well.
Yeah, and I guess I mean, they all went to see Colin in his bedroom and stuff. Did they just leave the council in the whatever?
The library, I think it was.
They just leave him in there and that's the end of it?
I guess.
Yeah, and I think his little girlfriend, the Coco chick, it's like, not only is she not a vampire, but she's so young that she still wants the buttered noodles and the chicken nuggets.
I shake my head real big.
Like she's a child. Just like, how long has he had her?
Yeah.
Like, has he had her since she was a child? Mm-hmm. It must have been Guillermo that made that stuff, because they don't seem to know what people food is anymore.
Yeah, I know Guillermo brought it out to her, so he probably did cook it.
I'm trying to place Donald Logue, what I might have most seen him in. I mean, I have seen Blade, but I'm not like that into it where I'm like,
I haven't seen Blade in like 20 years.
And I didn't really watch the Gotham. Yeah. I don't know. I think he's just kind of one of them guys that's just like in stuff.
Yeah, one of those dudes you see him and you're like, oh, it's that guy.
Yeah. He kind of reminds me of like the one Lord of the Rings dude that's always getting killed and stuff. Maybe not. Is it Sean Bean or is it a different guy? Is that who I mean?
I'm assuming you mean Sean Bean.
Okay. See, I've seen like The Patriot. There's just not these movies. I guess he's in Ghost Rider. This Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City.
I haven't seen that one yet.
So I probably haven't seen that. I just don't think I've really seen many of these, but I mean, I've seen him before.
Yeah. There was something I was watching not that long ago, and he showed up, and I was like, oh yeah, it's Donald Logue.
Yeah, I don't think I knew that's what his name was. But anyway, you don't have to keep that whole conversation in either if you don't want to. Just like go back to it. So yeah, again, it's sweet. Laszlo's trying to throw Colin a birthday party and get everybody to sign the card. I know Nadja was like stressed out with having the council there, but even if it was just his 100th birthday and it wasn't that he was dying, like just that sort of attitude that she has, like I understand why. Like, Nandor's kind of fed up with them.
Yeah.
And I could see why Colin at times can be. They're worse to him, really, than Nandor, but it's pretty close.
Yeah. Sometimes when I watch this, it's kind of like the crew in, like, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah. It's like, like, they're all kind of despicable.
Yes. They're just, like, all awful to each other, but some of them, I almost think if they weren't with that group, they might be okay. Not Dennis, but...
Yeah. The one that was, like, illiterate on there.
Yeah, Charlie. I think he might be okay.
His heart is still good, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of just like, I don't know, maybe it is just because they live together and they're just tired of each other, but it is a little toxic.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like a lot of it is Nadja. Yeah. But Laszlo does it too. But I don't feel like Guillermo and Nandor or Colin really pick on them.
Not really, no.
They do all the picking. That's what I'm saying. Maybe Colin and Guillermo and Nandor just need to move out.
Yeah.
But obviously, we've seen the entire show, and that doesn't ever happen. I'm wondering, like, with the super slumber, it's like they were kind of saying, Naja and Laszlo, like you just kind of wake up alone.
Yeah.
How are you woken up? Because do they just wake themselves up after a while, or
Are they like an internal, like, alarm?
because Guillermo's not going to live. He might live another 50 years. He's not going to live 100 or 300 years to wake him up.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see Laszlo and Naja maybe still living there.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they would wake him up.
Yeah.
They would just forget.
Yes. I can absolutely see them just like being like, what's with that weird boarded up room?
Yeah. The Contessa lady, I guess we didn't really totally say who she was, but
her name doesn't look familiar. It's like Candy or Condi Alexander.
I was thinking I looked her up and I kind of knew who she was, but maybe not. I feel like she just looked familiar to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does, but I'm like, huh. I guess like when I saw it, she was a dancer, choreographer, and actress. And she did like Whitney Houston's world tours. But she does look familiar. Like
I'm scrolling and it says she was on ER. So
I'm like, who wasn't though?
Yeah, that's fair.
Looks like she's in a Dolph Lundgren movie. In Poetic Justice. I don't think I ever watched that. And What's Love Got to Do with It? I don't know. Like I said, I don't think I really watched any of these things, but
Yeah.
just those other two were kind of famous.
Yeah.
It's probably just someone like that the Taika was with or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe she reached out. I'd like to be a vampire.
It's like, I'm not gonna live to be 130.
Yeah, none of them could leave Nandor even alone for an entire day to have any sort of slumber. I think the one time when Guillermo did go in there, he had thought it was over.
Yeah, and Nandor was like, so rude. He's like, the ravages of time have not been kind to you. And he's like, it's been 30 minutes.
Yeah. Like your formerly youthful face. Yeah, I'm not sure what Guillermo would do with himself. Would he have stayed and tried to still serve him, like just outside the door until he died, or move on to another vampire and try to get made into a vampire? I wonder if he could just get Naja and Laszlo to make him into a vampire, because I feel like Nandor didn't want to turn him into a vampire.
Yeah.
But Naja just took that girl off the street or whatever and did it.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering if he asked, with Nandor basically out of the picture,
Right.
if they would have done it. I mean, I know he did kind of do some of their bidding.
Yeah.
They kind of ordered him around, or if they would keep him on as their familiar. We'll never know, because I take it that's the end of his slumber. I'm guessing. I mean, there's just one more episode of this season. They might carry it over to season 4, but I think that's probably it with his trying to.
Yeah, I think so too.
Do a super slumber. The next episode is called The Portrait, so make sure to check that out so we don't spoil it before you check out our next episode.
And just, again, if you could, to follow, subscribe, comment, review, whatever. That would be super helpful if you could push all those buttons for us.
Share with your friends.
So until next time, remember, you're dead and out of this world. Goodbye.
Goodbye.